Welcome back to Morgan's video blog with writing tips from the pros and, of course, my own writerly musings. Today, I'm here to talk about Imaginarium 2022. I'm taking a week off my Balticon panel write ups because I hit a con this weekend. This was my third year as a panelist for the Imaginarium convention in Louisville, Kentucky. My first year was purely virtual, shocking in 2020. Last year was hybrid, and this year it was purely in person. Only I forgot to book a room this time. 2 weeks out, I was looking for my confirmation email and realized my mistake. I called and asked to get waitlisted, found a cheap alternative, and paid a little extra so I could cancel at any time with the expectation I'd be moving to the host hotel. That never happened. So anyway, last Thursday I took half a day off my day job and Sako Toomey, my con buddy and live stream regular, hit my house about 3 p.m. for the 9-hour drive. Most of it through the mountains of West Virginia where cruise control is useless. Did I mention I have a little tiny car and she ain't got a big engine? So Sako and I chatted shop most of the way. We got to the motel about 1 a.m. and checked in. They confirmed our reservation, then tried to tell us we'd already checked in. Apparently, they gave our room a rent. Finally, they found us a room at the back of the lot, and when we walked in, it reeked of cigarettes, despite the paper we'd signed saying we wouldn't be smoking and the sign in the room saying it was non smoking. Whatever. It was clean enough, it was available, and we were tired. Plus, I brought an air filter, so I set it to full blast and it was reasonable. We crashed out. Friday. Morning comes and we head to the host hotel, spying a gentleman with laces on his sleeve, looking like Renaissance fair garb. I grinned, turned to Sako, and was like, I bet they're going to the con. Looks like we're not the only ones in overflow. Sako hit the reg line, and I tried to get off the wait list, but no go. They were full up. With our badges acquired, we checked out the dealer's room, grabbed lunch from the concession stand, and stole a table outside the gaming room to eat. It wasn't being used. Then it was time for our first panels. I was on the panel Writing YA with Lynn Slaughter, Jillian Boehm, MS Nolan, and Robert P. Otone. A lively panel with lots of good thoughts. Next, I headed to Understanding Anthologies for some research and blogger, vlogger, podcaster, and why we need them for that lovely external validation. We skipped opening ceremonies in favor of dinner and then came back to socialize. But after the long drive the night before and with full bellies, by 8 p.m., we were crashing hard. So we bailed out before the what turned out to be out of control writers and bourbon panel. We aired out the room. Sako got a nap in while I played on my phone for a couple hours. And then I got an hour of revisions in. Then she woke up and got some of her own writing done on the one desk while I went to sleep. Saturday, I woke early enough to shower and drag my butt to a 9 a.m. panel on creative marketing. We even left early enough to grab some Starbucks. It was a fair panel, but it was more about marketing 101 than anything really new. But then again, the only really creative things are the things that haven't been done before, right? Next up, Voodoo Marketing 101 with a new friend we met there, Erica. Sako and I hit Starbucks and Jimmy John's for lunch, and I made it back in time for a pile of panels and workshops. Plot development workshop, audiobook narration, ask the editor Q&A with Ellen Datlow, and storytelling through tarot with Sako. Instead of the awards assembly and some food that did not impress us last year, we headed out for some errands. I grabbed some scissors for my masquerade costume, and then I was thinking fried chicken. So we tried to hit Bob Evans, but the lot was empty, and we found out the hard way they were carry out only. So across the parking lot was an Olive Garden. We skipped the line and just ate at the bar, and I had all of the breadsticks. No regrets. We swung by the hotel room so I could grab a brush and we could let the hotel know that the smoke smell was not us. and see if they had a fresher room. They did not, but at least we never got charged for the smoking. Then back to the host hotel. The awards assembly was still going, so I slipped into the bathroom to add some accessories to my outfit for the costume contest. And I went to go chat with Sako when I was done. 2 minutes later, literally 2 minutes, I decided to grab more accessories from my car and could not find my keys. Did I mention that my costume came with button eyes? I could see great straight ahead. I had excellent peripheral vision, not so great vision at that in between space, like that the bathroom counter. I retraced my steps. I checked at the reg desk for both the convention and the hotel, asked around, and retraced my steps a second time and a third, this time without the button eyes at all. I was told keys had been turned into the front desk and they weren't mine. I started asking around for who had AAA, but I wasn't going to call until after the costume contest. Finally, I messaged a couple friends of mine on staff, and 2 minutes later, I got a text with a picture of my keys asking if they were mine. I wasn't going to have to call and get a friend to overnight my spare keys from home, nor was I going to have to sit and wait for a locksmith for like an hour or spend all that money. The awards ceremony was still running. I slid through, grabbed my keys, and got my act together. After the awards finished, they swapped out the room configuration and I lined up for the costume contest, doing my best head tilt and creepy smile, thoroughly creeping out our host, John Pico. There were about 10 contestants, and in my Coraline inspired Other Mother costume, I did my best to be smiley and creepy, snipping in the air with scissors and offering my spare set of button eyes, blackish traditional, to the judges. While awaiting the judge's verdict, John Pico declared that none of last year's contestants had returned, but I won last year. So I stomped up to him and set him straight. And then I loaned my spare set of button eyes to another contestant. Was it you, Tallyman? And we stalked him again. Then the costume awards were given out, and I tied with the Tallyman for first place. Still high on my win, I visited Sako in the bar lobby, hanging out and talking shop for hours. Poor Joel, the birthday boy, whose ear I totally talked off. Quote of the night. So, Alice in Wonderland would qualify as psychological horror for kids, right? I, it, yes. When the bar called a last round, I was starting to fade, and I rounded up Sako, and we headed back to our hotel at 2 a.m. Yeah, I was a little tired. But I had on Sunday a 10 a.m. panel called Taming Squirrels on keeping focused on your writing. One problem, it was in half of the room that had been used for the awards the night before, and it was still combined with the other half of the room where they were having an acting workshop. After 5 minutes, they stood up and started to move to music. So we bailed for the lobby where there were fewer distractions. The rest of the morning was spent shopping and chatting with people, including the gentleman with the lace sleeves. I'd seen the laced sleeves that I'd seen the first night he was helping sell dice. And then my first in person workshop, agents, loglines, and query letters. I'd been worried about having a workshop after lunch on the last day that there would hardly be anyone left, but the room was full. I got it set up on the monitor and working right at like 1:30, and 5 minutes in the screen went wonky and I just bailed on that. I had one attendee ask if I was an agent, and after I said no and she asked a couple other questions, she left early. Maybe she had a long trip ahead of her, but everyone else stuck it out, asking great questions, and all in all, making my first in person workshop a success. I chatted a little after the panel, said goodbye to Cassandra, grabbed some Arby's, and hit the road, just in time for my weekly productivity live stream with Saku and Doc. Soccer drove, and I hosted as we drove across all of Kentucky. The stream ended like 2 minutes after we hit West Virginia. We swapped drivers and made our way through the mountains of West Virginia for the second time in 3 days. At one point, it was near time for me to stop for gas, and I saw a sign for gas in Biscuit World. Now, I've never tried a Biscuit World, but I am a carbivore and a fan of biscuits in particular. So I took the exit and saw a sign that listed both the gas stations and Biscuit World as 9.9 miles from the highway. That was a little too far out of the way. Clearly, you can only get listed on an exit sign if you're under 10 miles with those sorts of numbers. Bah. So I followed GPS right back onto the highway, and it had us going south instead of north. 8 miles later, we hit another exit, actually get gas, and managed to get back on the highway going the correct direction. Shake fist. The rest of the world was interspersed with checking our sliding ETA and shaking my fist, chanting, "Stupid Biscuit World." We took a late dinner break at Wawa where I got a breakfast sandwich and finally got my biscuit. And about 2 a.m., we finally hit my place and Sako crashed over until dawn so she'd be safe to drive. Monday, I had originally taken just the morning off, so I hit the chiropractor just before noon and came home and napped. Everything I brought with me, though, had to get washed because it just reeked of smoke. Other than that, all in all, a pleasant weekend, and I'll note to hit the road by 2 p.m. at the latest next year, coming and going. Or maybe it'll be safer to fly by then. We'll see. So, the best part of the weekend for me, though, was getting to geek out about writing with people who get it. Thank you all, and I hope to see y'all next year. Or if you weren't able to make it, maybe you'll think about hitting Imaginarium next year. Talk to you next week. I'm sharing some actual writing tips. Bye bye.